Welcome back to the Coach Steve Show with finally, after their strike was over and Safe Moon was enough of payment, Coach West and Coach Dr. Biscuits. Coach Dr. Biscuits, I don't know why, but Dr. Biscuits, Brad Miller is back. Finally. It's been 6 months maybe.
What was that intro?
That's the new one. Too much copyright going on. I have to be safe.
Steve only got away with like stealing music for his own
I mean, he literally took "If You Smell What the Rock Is," and then could have had Martha Stewart come in and say "cooking" or something, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
This is what happens when you become.
I don't feel as fired up now.
I know it's not as cool.
It's just some generic guitar riff.
Hey, if you want to pay the copyright for me, I'll put it back up.
You have a lot of stuff going on in that thing.
Yeah, you also had like the Bulls intro music, which is clearly copyrighted.
I have not been caught for that one yet.
That's the wildest one. I can't believe it.
They got the Guns N' Roses one, but they haven't found the Bulls. Maybe because it's been since the 90s. Maybe it's been long enough.
That's the thing. See, the Bulls haven't really been relevant since D. Rose blew out his second leg. So, like, you've got a good shot of not getting caught on that.
True.
No, I got worried. So on our free thing, I just found a bunch of stuff put together and just let it go. Screw it. The content is better than the intro.
You know, I know some guys that could maybe put together like something for you. You got that mixer pad. Why don't you just hit a bunch of buttons?
Bunch of fart noises.
Yeah.
I would hit another one, but then I can't get it to stop, so we're not going to mess with that.
Do you program the buttons?
It's pre-pro. I could, but this just came on.
You don't even have the custom job yet.
Yeah.
It comes with a card that can hold like 30 or 40 hours of stuff, so I could do that.
You need to program the Larry David fuck you and I'll see you next Sunday.
You want to talk about copyright? Because that's what's going on.
You get in trouble for that one real quick.
Well, we could do that and just add night at the end of it.
Yeah, that works. See, Steve, this is what we're here for.
And put a question mark at the end because you don't know if they're going to show up again. You know?
And this is why we can go live.
Kind of like a mediocre Tinder date. You never know, like, which way is this thing going?
It's true. There's high variance is what
Which, by the way, you know how many times I've been to the Peoria Civic Center to, like, watch concerts and stuff and didn't realize that Big Al's is, like, right across the street?
Big Al's?
Yeah. That's Strip Club.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
I didn't. I was like, my wife goes, there's Big Al's. I was like, I thought it was down by like the casino, by the way. Everybody talked about going there.
There's only one strip club that I know, and it's the Silver Bullet.
Let me tell you about that little establishment on Washington Street, named after a thing that can drop a werewolf.
And this is why we don't go live.
Yeah, we shouldn't have gone live yet.
This is a place where you can meet the workers afterwards at the Oakwood Truck Plaza.
Or run into two random German guys
that are amazing
and have the weirdest night of your life.
Definitely a weird night.
Okay. We got to get back on the...
Anyway.
You know what? Because of those nights, I am the person who I am now.
True. It kind of makes you into...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have nightmares over some of it.
You have to have shitty, weird nights to be a well-rounded person.
I feel like that. Like you have to be put in awkward situations in which you react in the right way to where you make friendships forever.
Exactly.
But did we react in the right way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Otherwise, we'd be in prison.
That's true.
Well, that's debatable. It was Vermilion County.
Champaign County.
Don't get me started about driving to the truck stop and what goes on.
Oh, yeah. True. I was trying to explain to people like why the truck stop was so cool.
Like legendary.
Yeah.
Iconic.
You couldn't, like, I can't really explain it in a way that makes any sense to anyone.
You can't. You need like to write another Bible. Like you just can't do it.
You walk in there and there's this sassy old woman that slaps the shit out of you because you're in there drunk at 3 a.m.
Like, think about it like Dick's Last Resort or something like that.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna get shitty breakfast food and you're gonna get roasted while you eat it.
And there's no
And
writing.
you're going to be able to shit out all your toxins about 8 hours later after you wake up because of all the grease.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't even a pain in the ass. It just slides right out.
And this is why we don't go live.
There's no resistance from your butthole at that point.
No, you just sit down and you want to know what's great is haystack going in, haystack going out.
It looks the exact same.
Yes.
There's little flecks of eggs, not digested.
Some of you Division I coaches have had on the podcast. I apologize for all the content.
Steve.
No, these guys, this is the thing, Steve, when they get to their level, right, they forget about those stories. But those are the stories that made them want to continue, Steve. I'm serious.
Steve has
Everybody's
done
got a story about an IHOP or a cheap-ass Waffle House or something. Ours is Oakwood Truck Plaza.
Exactly.
OTG.
It was just the Oakwood version of the Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
Which is better.
You got to think it was before McDonald's.
Right.
Yeah. It was the only thing there.
Yeah.
You had the north one. You had the north one over that we had to go to. Then when it closed, you just went to the other one because it was the exact same thing.
Yes.
And we kicked Salt Fork out. Remember when Salt Fork always went to that one? Then we showed up and they all walked out. We're like, it's ours now. Because they would show up.
I just like how there were 2 truck stops that were the exact same. And they're like, people are too fucking lazy to just cross over the interstate to go to the one. So we have to build 2.
But the one right off the interstate coming one way was always busy. So you need another one for the other way. So
and now there's 17 gas stations all right there.
Yeah.
And a Cinnabon.
I refuse to go in that one.
It's a Cinnabon to go or some shit. It ain't even like a real one.
I think me and Ben showed up at 2 a.m. there one time, like years ago.
It's like a kiosk. There's a lot of places I went to in Oakwood at 2 a.m. and that wasn't to the Cinnabon kiosk. There's actually the Oakwood Walmart. That was interesting. At 2 a.m. at night.
Ew.
Some scraggly characters walking around there.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Speaking of scraggly characters, Texas and Oklahoma want to leave and go to the SEC.
That's why Steve makes big bucks.
There we go. Great transition. Can we get some generic guitar line to lead us into that?
Or can we have a transition noise?
I don't know what these sounds are. I'm afraid to push buttons. I just know
you should hit a bell like the Script Howard spelling bee.
There you go.
That wasn't a good one.
Just control the music.
Just try another one.
No, because the other one won't shut off for like a minute.
You got 2 sounds.
That can't be your transition.
Way too long for a transition.
There's only 4, and I haven't programmed it because I don't use it.
Then why do you have it?
I don't use the sound. I use everything else but the sound.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way to use this bad boy.
Oh. I'm still using the computer. I don't.
Hey, but this morning I had the O-line coach from Ohio University on for the second time in a week, so I have to be professional.
Oh.
And then he's texting me inside zone stuff. It's a good time. He's like texting me drills. I'm like, oh, thank you.
That's cool.
That's nice.
That's why we can't talk about the silver bullet and.
Oh, we can.
We absolutely can. This brings you back to reality, Steve.
Steve, quit.
You can go hang out with all your Division I cronies when in real life, when push comes to shove,
I know what I am. I know what I am.
That guy.
Let's bring you down out of your ivory tower, Steve.
Yeah. Gandalf.
I know where I am and where I'm from.
Okay. So Texas, Oklahoma are
Speaking of dirty guys on the corner, Texas and Oklahoma are going to the
So did you notice that they waited to announce it until Jimbo Fisher was talking on the podium at Media Day?
Was that when it was announced? Because I know he said something like, I bet they would.
It was a Texas A&M. They leaked it to a Texas A&M reporter while Jimbo Fisher was on this podium talking about Texas A&M.
Is that why they asked, what would you think if they left? Is that why they asked that? Yeah,
and they were like, there's reports that Texas and Oklahoma are going to come to the SEC, and he's like, first thing I've heard about it. Evidently, the SEC consulted every other SEC school but Texas A&M.
Because there was a gentleman's agreement is what they're saying between Texas A&M and Texas, that if Texas A&M goes to the SEC, Texas will not come over. That's going to be a Texas A&M thing.
Well, no, there was also a gentleman's agreement between A&M and the SEC commissioner, the old SEC commissioner, that if Texas ever wanted to come into the SEC, A&M would have the final yay or nay. And evidently they're like, fuck you guys.
And this has been going on for 6 months. 6 months they've talked about this, and nobody knew.
And let's be honest here, guys. That is why you sign contracts. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's business 101. Get it in writing.
Well, they tried to do some fake business.
Yeah, they did. They tried fake business.
And now they're in too deep. It's real now. It's real business now.
Somebody called the FBI, and now we got to do real business. No, but okay. So did you know the SEC's next year, I think, they signed their new TV deal that's worth $3 billion.
Well, a lot of hurdles they have to go over for this to happen. The SEC has that. But then Texas has their network. So one of the things that's going to be talked about is, can they bring that over? And the SEC might be like, no, you can't. Or you give us a percentage.
So the other part of that is the Longhorn Network has been in the red financially for 3 years. They've never made money.
Okay.
So Texas is trying to get out. So last year, every Big 12 school made $37 million off their TV deal. Okay. When they move to the SEC, they're guaranteed 50 to 60 million.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see where? So a lot has happened. So a lot of this is not in order. But then they said Texas and Oklahoma would have to pay $76 million each to leave because they have to stay there till 2024 or 2025.
2025. And if they were to leave next year, 22, it jumps up to $160 million.
How the fuck can a state university afford that? That's a lot of boosters. That's a lot of boosters.
It is, but Texas can afford it. Oklahoma can afford it.
Texas more than Oklahoma can afford it, but that's a lot of money to just write a check for and be like, here, Big 12, here you go.
And they're taking a hit initially, but you got to think you put yourself in a $160 million hole or whatever. Well, you make $50 million a year just in TV revenue every year after that in absentia. Right.
My thing is, so who are they going to write that check to? Because ultimately, those two teams leave the Big 12. The Big 12, let's just be honest, it's going to be no more. So they just writing it to a figurehead of the Big 12 who's just going to be like, well, I got $200 million.
No, they're writing that check to the rest of the schools.
Oh,
so
even, it up.
Yeah, even if the conference dissolves, those schools are going to get checks.
Holy shit. That's a good chunk.
Yeah.
And it's not bad.
Because the Big 12 has 10 schools?
No, they have 12, don't they? Because it's
West Virginia. They added West Virginia.
Yeah, they got back to 12. Because remember, there was like a 2-year run where the Big 12 had 10 teams and the Big 10 had 12 teams.
Yeah.
You don't remember that? It was the dumbest thing.
Now we're going to be like the Big 18.
So the SEC is going to have 16. So that means the Big 10 has to add 2 more.
So then what happened was when this happened, was it yesterday? The Big 10 didn't call Kansas. Kansas called the Big 10. Because I don't think the Big 10 wants Kansas's basketball program, I think, but they don't want the football program.
Yeah. But you got to take them.
Right. And then the other part was, well, the first question the other day, I talked to some coaches on their podcast about this was, what happens to the Big 12? Do you add teams? Because you could. There's BYU out there. There's these teams. But then it comes down to you will no longer be a Power 5 if you add BYU or some other independent, or if someone else leaves a conference. Because Nebraska needs to leave the Big 10 and go back to the Big 12, but now that can't happen. You won't be a Power 5. So then, like, Iowa State's sitting there on the rise. You need Power 5 money to keep Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
So Iowa State, I think, called the Big 10 because, like, Penn State, I think Pittsburgh's tried to join the Big 10 before, but Penn State blocks it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa will allow Iowa State to come into the Big 10.
And that's a good ad. Like,
right.
Iowa State's, yeah, I like that.
A
and
big
Kansas is like
football program on the rise. That's a good ad.
Yeah. But like Kansas, it's like boom over here and terrible over here. Like it's.
And I think some teams left out in the cold because now I think Texas Tech and Baylor talked to the Pac-12. So left out, Kansas State hasn't talked to anybody. I don't think West Virginia's talked to anybody. TCU that has not talked to anybody.
West Virginia could go ACC.
They could. Oklahoma State has not talked to anybody. Like
that would be another good ad.
Geographically, though, like
it's stupid.
That's the whole thing about this Big 10. Like I think it was Craig that is friends with Logan. He put up a thing. If you look at if they add Kansas and Iowa State, it looks fine. It looks fine. Like geographically, it's like, okay, we're already going to Nebraska. This looks okay. You start and West Virginia could, but you got to think. Big 10 gets nothing out of getting West Virginia in. There's no media market there. What do they get if they add West Virginia? They get nothing.
Yeah.
And the only thing you get out of Kansas is the basketball brand.
Yeah, but you know Kansas basketball brings in more ad revenue than somebody ran the numbers on this, that Kansas brings in more ad revenue than Illinois, Northwestern. There was like 6 Big 10 schools combined basketball programs. Kansas alone brings in more ad revenue.
Could you imagine Bill Self coming back to the Assembly Hall? We'll call it the Assembly Hall.
It would be fucking wild.
Yeah. That's a game. Like that's a must-have tickets to go to a game.
It would melt down.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like I literally just got goosebumps on that.
That would be fun. That would be an insane game.
Mm-hmm. Especially right now, which we're going to get to.
Yes.
Later.
But like, I think it'd be cool if you got. Well, then you look at and you're like, okay, what about Kansas State? They're right there. They could fit into the Big 10. But if you want to add Kansas and Iowa State, now you got to add 2 more. And that's where this becomes Big 10 getting to 16 teams. Because Kansas State doesn't want to afford to go fly to the Pac-12. They don't want to fly all the way out to play ACC.
Yeah, they're kind of in the middle.
So they may have to go to the Big 10. So now you got to look at it like, do you just take Kansas State over Kansas? You give up that basketball. So now it becomes, now you almost have to add West Virginia. If you got to add 2 more, now it becomes Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa State, West Virginia.
That's too many. You don't need that many teams.
Because how many are in the Big 12 right now or Big 10 right now?
14.
There's 14.
We need 2 teams.
But this is what I was saying. Now they're predicting maybe the SEC is going to add 4 more to get to 20. The Big Ten's going to add to get to 20. And now they've even talked about no longer Power 5. It's going to be like the NFL. We're going to have like these 4 divisions, North, South, East, West. Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
ACC is going to absorb a bunch to create their thing. SEC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. They're just going to create these super conferences.
Which would be kind of cool.
When I saw the pod, so like somebody drew up the SEC instead of having it like split in half, they did like pods.
Like a 4 pods.
Yes. I actually love the look of those pods.
Yeah.
Like that
balanced.
That was going to be good football. Like you're going to get good ass football every week. And honestly, what I get sick of is watching Alabama go play Pissy State University. And that's my question is, you go to these super conferences, you're not going to have those pay games for those 1AA teams.
Like,
because you're going to have to play meaningful football.
If this happens, the SEC will have a West Division. It'll be Texas A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Missouri, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. The other side is Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina. First of all, you know what I see when I see all those teams? Look at all those coaches and those personalities that they have. Like, good Lord. Like, and then that's not fair. That conference is just not fair.
Yeah. But can we talk about how on the Big Ten side of it, if you keep the East-West structure, adding Kansas as an Illinois fan, that's a win.
Even if it is, because let's be honest, like, that's a huge basketball ad.
Yeah, like, and having Kansas in Illinois' division in basketball.
Yeah. That's a rivalry.
That's a rivalry game.
Without even having to play a game, it's a rivalry game.
Like even though no one at Illinois right now was here for that.
Yeah, and most of our fans that we have now have no clue why we're saying that.
They don't even know Bill Self was at Illinois. They don't care enough to know.
They don't know.
Yeah. They have a vague memory of 0405. I'm not realizing that those were all Bill Self's players.
You know what? I broke out the 06-07 for this game today in Peoria. The 06-07 ACC Big Ten Challenge jersey of D. Brown. And look at what we did. Yeah. It had the silver right there on each side.
Mm-hmm.
That baby's in pristine condition. And it only gets broke out for certain things, and well, it won't get broke out again, I don't think.
God damn.
But anyway, yeah. So, but yeah. So we like adding Kansas is a huge win to our side, and that makes it a lot more fun.
They're talking about this is going to get. We're going to find out way more in this during this week. It's going to get done this week. That's how quickly they're going to move.
And I think Iowa would actually be pumped up for Iowa State to join.
Yes,
because they hate each other. So then they have a legit rivalry game there baked into the conference.
Instead of us hating Iowa, which will always happen,
it'll
be Iowa and Iowa State, and then us in Kansas in basketball season.
So get this. So like, there's a coach in West Virginia. He does a podcast. I'm always on. Like we've talked. I go on there. I've been on there like 4 times this past week. We go over football conferences. Well, they're sending us up. This one coach is in deep. We don't know how real this is. He sent us a message. I'm going to tell you this. We don't know how real this is.
Is he in college basketball or college
football?
Can
you even talk about it on this podcast, or is that stealing it? And are you on copyright infringement?
No, this is a tweet.
He gets shot in the head before he can say anything.
No, but
you just see.
No, the reason why I know some of this because he's sending us the articles about what's happening with one thing that got said. Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, and Florida State have been in talks with the SEC.
So
Ohio State wouldn't like that.
The tweet
And
was
Michigan would be a bottom of the barrel football team.
the tweet was SEC has been in serious contact with Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, and Florida State. Not clear if this will materialize, but they have their eyes on a true 20-team mega conference. Oklahoma and Texas is just the start.
see, that's stupid.
I'm going to tell you right now, Michigan goes to that conference, they will never win again. Michigan isn't what they think they are. They're
Texas is the same way.
That's true.
Texas is going to walk into the SEC thinking they're hot shit and they're going to win 3 games.
That's why I like the picture I put. I don't know if, Brad, you probably didn't see it. It showed that picture of the guy walking with his girlfriend looking at the girl, you like that, ooh. It said Texas coming in 3rd in the Big 12, looking over, coming in 5th in the SEC.
I think 5th in the SEC is – you're not doing that.
It's probably just their division, like 5th in their division.
What was the 5th best team in the SEC this past year?
Oh, good Lord. It was probably like LSU or something. I don't know.
Nah, you would have –
It was
Alabama, Florida, Georgia,
Texas
A&M. Auburn was up there.
Ole Miss was the 5th record-wise in the COVID year.
Ole Miss.
It went Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss. Ole Miss went 4.
What about Georgia? Where the hell's Georgia? They're a good-ass football team. They just don't know how to run offense.
Okay, so in reality, is Texas Georgia? No. Georgia would spank their bottoms tomorrow.
Yeah. Actually, they would give them
wait.
when they shit their diaper.
Hold on. They're just giving me the freaking divisions.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
StupidSEC.com.
Like, I think Missouri gives Texas a run for their money.
So Missouri now, absolutely, because they've had to adjust.
Alabama had the best record, then Texas A&M, then Florida, then Georgia, then Auburn.
Yeah. Texas can't compete with Auburn.
No. And then after that was Missouri.
Yeah.
5-5.
Exactly.
And you're talking about a young LSU team who was a shoe throw away from beating Florida.
They had a lot of guys out of
serious. Like LSU's young. Like they won a national championship 2 years ago.
Do we not remember what happens when Oklahoma gets into the playoff and faces an SEC team? Now, they should have beat Georgia, but Lincoln Riley shit the bed and took his foot off the gas.
See, once again, should have beat Georgia, the 4th team in the SEC. Or 3rd or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, should have beat the 3rd or the 4th team. You're not talking about the top 2.
Now, the only good thing this does for them is money. And here in a couple years, they might get some of those recruits. But now you're talking about 16 teams trying to get these kids.
Yeah. And how many, they're already in battles for these recruits. How many guys say, you know what? I want to play in the SEC, so I'm going to go to a lesser school. If you're turning down Texas or Oklahoma, you're either choosing Alabama or a team like that. The conference, I don't think, really makes a difference at that point.
I think NIL money changes because if you're on a TV, every SEC game is prime time, basically, right?
Every Alabama game.
Like this past year, how many Ole Miss games did we watch? And they were kind of trash for most of the year, but you want to watch them because it's Lane Kiffin and he's throwing a fucking clipboard up in the air.
Yeah.
Right. So those guys that, might have gone to an SEC school or might have gone to another school, well, now they realize I'm getting SEC publicity to go to Oklahoma.
And they're sponsored by Jordan now. So now you're looking at it like Oklahoma's Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley's offense. I'm going to be on the SEC network. I can go show what I can do against Alabama or LSU. Texas, as much as we hate it, they think they have this high standard like a Michigan does, but they're going to go to Texas. Sarkisian's there. He's going to get them.
Texas is a middle-class Michigan. Like Michigan is like a poor man somebody. I don't even know who. Texas is like a middle-class Michigan.
They're the same school.
Just Texas has more money.
I think the money's probably equal.
No, Texas has that Nick Saban money. The only reason why Nick Saban is making what he's making is because Texas is coming with an offer at this, and Alabama goes, we'll give him $5 million more or something.
Yeah.
Texas has that Nick Saban. They've tried. Every time Nick Saban's contract is up, Texas has sent him an offer.
Do you think Nick Saban was behind all of this, so he just got another one of his ex-coaches back in the SEC so he can whoop his ass every year?
Probably. I think someone asked him about that. Like, do you think these guys want to beat you or something? He goes, I bet they would.
And you got to think about it. Like, when he takes these guys in, like, they are, like, blacklisted from wherever they're coming from.
Yeah, they're broken coaches.
Yeah. And then he, like, peels them back out. Like, all right, here you go.
Yeah. Go enjoy trying to resurrect a 5-star program.
Yeah.
But then there's talks about Texas A&M is so pissed. They are pissed about this. They might leave. So now it screws up that whole thing. They might leave and go to the Pac-12.
They're not.
No.
It's already talked about. They've already talked about it.
That would fuck up their recruiting, though.
If
they don't care. They are pouting. They are pouting like nobody's business.
If they leave, that's the biggest pussy move of all time.
Yeah. You can't cut your nose off to spite your face.
Because they left the Big 12 because they were like, we're not the little brother. And they're like, we can compete in the SEC. And now they do compete in the SEC.
They do.
And now Texas shows up and they're like, well, we're out. Like, why wouldn't you take the chance over the next, 4 to 5 years it's going to take Texas to build a program that's competitive to whoop their ass every year? Because they're going to.
And let's be honest, it's Steve Sarkisian. We're all acting like he's some program resurrector. Hate to say it, he ain't.
He tried that.
He took Matt Ryan from an MVP year the previous year with Shanahan, and then he takes over the offense, and the Atlanta Falcons fall off the face of the earth.
Well, he tried it at USC. How'd that go?
He couldn't put the bottle down. He couldn't put the bottle down at the time. Now he's sober.
Congrats. You had to drink it neat.
Yeah.
You don't think you're going to develop a drinking problem at Texas?
And the drinking.
No, you just shoot someone. It's a simple fix. Shoot him in the kneecap.
That's okay in Texas.
Right. You don't have to drink.
Actually, they'd probably make him the governor.
He would at least be the mayor of a middle-sized town.
Oh, for sure.
Jimbo Fisher to Texas. Be careful what you wish for.
I think Texas A&M whoops their ass.
Oh, yeah.
For this year? Yeah, and then once Sarkisian gets some guys in, then I'll take him over Jimbo.
Sarkisian's the answer at Texas.
And honestly,
he's the hot name because he was in an Alabama offense. It was just ungodly. Let's be honest, Steve, me and you could look like geniuses with those kind of fucking dudes.
When every guy on your offensive line's a 5-star.
And athletic as hell.
Yeah.
And you have Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, the Forresting kid who's an absolute freaking stud at tight end.
I don't know if he's the answer.
Harris at running back.
They'll be better than what they were with him.
I don't know. Texas is kind of like a Michigan, and I don't think Sarkisian. I don't know if he's that answer.
But yeah, lots happened. Texas A&M says they want to be the only Texas school in the SEC, and that's why they had this agreement with Texas, and now they're mad. So they're talking about leaving and going to the Pac-12. And then it's just posted, Texas lawmakers file bill to block UT Austin from leaving Big 12 for the SEC.
Because they know.
Well, there's some money moving hands there.
Yeah.
Somebody's losing big money on the Longhorn Network or something. And they're like, oh, wait, we can't allow this.
They can't bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Even though I think in the long run, here's the deal. I think Texas needs like a program builder, and Sarkisian's not that. Like he got handed the keys to like a really nice race car at USC. I mean, it was kind of in a debacle, but you're still getting dudes at USC.
The exact car specification, he got handed the keys to like an 87 Ferrari that like needed some work but could still shit and get. And all he did was run it into a tree.
Yeah, he basically I'm not gonna do that to Paul Walker, but dark humor there. But yeah, dude, like you need either a Matt Campbell, like I'm going within the conference. Hey, Iowa State guy, love what you're doing. You've built that, like you've taken them from a low middle to a high or a low high. Like he has built that. I would even say like a James Franklin at Penn State, honestly. Like they had a down year this year, but coming out of all the shit that they did, like, you know, he kind of kept that going. I think he's a good energy guy. I don't think Sarkisian's that dude. I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't have any swagger.
No.
To it. Like we were talking about Bielema with swagger.
Yeah.
And that matters.
I hope he does well. And I don't like Texas A&M, so I hope he beats them. But like, you're right. If he does, it's going to take years, especially now if you go to the SEC.
So if you're a recruit right now, though, say you're like a 5-star, and A&M's recruiting you and Texas is recruiting you, I'd rather go to College Station and play for A&M.
The 12th man.
Or not, but see now what's going to happen, though, is as a recruiting tool, he could look at them and say, we're about to join the SEC. We have the Longhorn Network. We're Texas. Sarkisian's here who has proven a winner. That's going to be the recruiting pitch. Like, do you want to be the first recruiting class of Texas going to the SEC? Like, that's going to be the recruiting pitch.
I think Texas has more NIL money or NIL opportunities. You got to think like Texas is like the Dallas, you know, they're like America's team kind of thing. Like that's what Texas is in the South. Like they just view it as that. You know, they are.
They're in Austin, which is like blowing up.
But is Texas A&M really that much better? They have one good year, and now all of a sudden they're like really good. They weren't good after what's his face was there that one year, Johnny Manziel. Then they've just been winning like 5 to 8 games a year. I know Texas has too, but that's not a huge difference.
They've been winning 8 games in the SEC.
Have they, though? They've left in 2011. It's been a long time.
I know. I didn't realize it had been like 10 years since they left the Big 12.
I mean, you got to think Missouri just became a 500 team here within the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like that takes a long time in the SEC. Because you got to think, like in the Big 12, you got to get ready for the Red River rivalry. You got to get ready for Iowa State. Who else you got in the big? Baylor could maybe show up, but I mean, hell, they've got so many scandals.
Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Kansas State has upset Oklahoma the past 2 years in a row.
But still, there's off weeks there. That's not a full college season. You know, there's like weeks where you're just going to play somebody that you're going to beat.
So I'm going to prove Brad right, and Brad's never going to let me down. So I'm looking it up. Let's go over Texas's record since A&M has left. So they left in 2011. Texas has gone 9-4, 8-5, 6-7, 2 years of 5-7, 7-6, 10-4, 8-5, 7-3. Texas A&M since leaving has gone 11-2, 9-4, 3 years of 8-5, 7-6, 9-4, 8-5, 9-1.
Damn,
that's good.
There was really no transition there.
No, well, they got better.
Yeah.
Well, they got rid of Kevin Solomon, that head coach.
Someone.
Then
Yeah.
they got Jimbo. They got Jimbo in 2018. They went 9-4, 8-5, and they went 9-1 last year.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably should have been the one playoff team, that fourth spot. But
Yeah.
Oh no, I agree. I'm not a fan
because
of
they
Jimbo,
lost
but
to Alabama when Alabama had Jalen Waddle.
who could have been the Heisman?
Yeah.
I just don't like Texas A&M, but they were good. I'm not a
I
fan
don't
of
like
Jimbo.
I don't like Jimbo Fisher, but you can't argue with their results. I mean, their offensive line was really damn good by the end of the year.
And that quarterback, he could sling the ball, and he's tall. He could
Kellen
sling
Mond,
it. He can sling it, yeah.
I think that he's a sleeper in the NFL.
And he doesn't.
Did he go to Minnesota?
He left.
Yeah, he's in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
I think he went to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Then Texas A&M won't be very good this year. They lost their quarterback. Good.
So Kirk Cousins better be breathing, because I think this is the last year of his big 3-year deal, isn't it?
I think so.
So they'll just bring Mond in. They won't miss a beat with him. He's a good-ass quarterback.
That dude has made Kirk Cousins has made so much money to be like a below average white guy quarterback.
He won his first primetime game this past year against the Bears.
He's made so much money to have like 3 good games a year, like blowout games, and then just be a Mitchell Trubisky the rest of the year. Like,
well, he has the like Matthew Stafford effect. Like he gets a bunch of stats in garbage time. So at the end of the year, when you look at his stat line, you're like, oh, this guy.
oh, you like that? You like that?
Yeah. As you get blown out. Yeah.
While you're on the old Washington team.
Did you see somebody tweeted about Cleveland, and they're like, they should have called themselves the Cleveland Washington Professional Football Team.
Did you see Western Michigan change their W logo to the exact same as the Washington football team? It's the same W.
Is it really?
Has Washington came up with a mascot yet?
No, they're staying with. They officially decided it was going to be.
I like it. I personally like the Washington. I don't know what it is about it, but it's grown on me.
It's classy.
Yeah.
There's a level of class about it, which I didn't realize that. Although, like the Indians,
the Guardians. Correct yourself.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
They quit using the Chief Wahoo logo.
Yeah.
But they were still profiting and selling Chief Wahoo stuff.
Yeah, respect.
So like, oh, we distance out of respect. They distance themselves from it.
If you don't see it on the media, it doesn't exist.
But then they kept selling the hats.
That's retro hats, Brad. You can't undo retro.
You know how many probably sold? Like as soon as they said, like, yeah, this is our official name change, I'll bet the MLB stores sold out.
Oh yeah. Well,
did you know I can still buy a Chief Illini Wick shirt? Like they're still out there.
Yeah, but you can't get officially licensed ones.
Oh, they're on Fanatics. They're officially licensed.
Let's look right now. You know what? Not too crazy on eBay just yet. About $55 for a hat. Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
You got to give it. I think you have to give it a couple years because now they have to sell all the stuff that ever had it on there.
Yeah.
So you give it about a year or two, that hat's gonna be like $200, and it's just gonna keep going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of thought about buying one and putting it away, like never touching it.
I have one.
I currently have a bottle of unopened Aunt Jemima maple syrup. If anybody wants that, $7,000.
I have Uncle Ben's rice bag in my
old Uncle Ben's
or Uncle Ben's in my cabinet. This is why we don't go live.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
edit this conversation out. But yeah, I think I'll be interested to see how quick Texas and Oklahoma actually make it to the SEC, and then if they're hit the ground running.
because what was it? They didn't sit in on the Big 12 meeting. They didn't show up. Nobody from there.
Yeah.
Then you come to find out it's been 6 months they've been talking and nobody knew.
Which is wild that no one leaked it.
Yeah, that's pretty good in today's day and age.
And you know what's crazy? This is probably not a big deal. Texas and Oklahoma are rival, right? And they're working together to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy to me. You'd think just one of them.
I think they looked at each other and they were like, you want some money? I want some money. Because that's all it comes down to.
All right, so if the Big Ten had to absorb some Big 12 teams, I think we all agree Kansas needs to come over.
Yes.
So Illinois can beat their football team, and that basketball program will just add to the Big Ten like crazy.
Yes.
Iowa State needs to come on over.
Yes.
I would really like to see Oklahoma State come over. But geographically, I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the mullet, even though he got rid of it. So I'm disappointed.
Oklahoma State's got pretty good basketball, too. And that would be a little line with them, with Underwood coming from Oklahoma State.
Because they hate his guts.
Even though he left them with a good basketball program.
He did, but evidently there were some recruiting promises made. Yeah. But, okay, so if all you can do is go to 16, my thing would be, and I know this is a pipe dream, but I would rather see us grab Kansas out of the Big 12 and then make a pitch to Notre Dame.
Yeah, because if you go to super conferences, there isn't going to be many non-conference games.
But see, here's the thing with Notre Dame.
Independent's going to hurt.
Yeah, but Notre Dame makes more money, I think, off their own TV deal than the Big Ten.
Right, but if you don't have teams to play, what if you don't have any teams from those big conferences to play?
Unless the rule is you have to schedule out a conference, and that's where they come in.
What if you tell them, like, hey, keep your TV deal. Just come in. And we'll give you the Big Ten money on top of that.
They may not do that. What would happen is they might say, you come in and we're keeping this percentage of your Notre Dame deal and this percentage of your Big Ten. You get the rest. That's what's going to happen. They will not do that. It's all about
Notre Dame won't have anybody to play. That's my thing. If you go to 20-team conferences, you're looking at 10-game conference, maybe even 11, 12-game conference schedules.
So that
one non-conference. And Notre Dame, after the first 3 weeks, because you would assume that those conference games would all take place at the back half of the season, they won't have anybody to play.
So Craig on there, he put up the regular Big Ten, like, okay, we're at 14. Then we just talked about if Iowa State and Kansas come, we get to 16. If they have to get to 20 because the SEC decides to, or even 18, the 18 option is adding West Virginia and Kansas State, which both work geographically.
We're pulling in another ex-Illini coach.
Yes. Then if you get to the 20 team, you're going to bring in Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa State, West Virginia, Notre Dame, and Ohio State or Oklahoma State.
But if Ohio State's already been in talks with the SEC and they leave, I think that Notre Dame sees a hot iron that they could strike there.
I would be shocked. I don't know how true that was, but it was a verified guy on Twitter that puts it. So when that happens, whatever, it's better than me putting it.
It draws your attention, right? It's more than
it's better than me putting it. If I put it out there, like Steve's just being an ass. Like this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just can't see Ohio State leaving. Like, you're making a lot of money as it is. And then you're going to go to the SEC.
Yeah, and Ohio State then all of a sudden goes and they are not the number one team anymore.
And then if you're Michigan, why would you go? Like, for you even, this is an opportunity for you to be like, hey, now maybe we can get some more Ohio kids. Now maybe we can win the Big Ten. Like, why would you go?
Going to the SEC would just ruin them.
It's hard enough to recruit there now as it is. Like, now you're going to try to bring a kid from Florida up there?
Yeah.
Plus, geographically, it makes no sense.
No, that's too far. That's way too far north.
Because at what point are we just like, Well, us as the SEC, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of anybody who finishes in the bottom half, and then we're just going to make plays on all these really good teams.
Well, it's like European soccer. You go into relegation, which is like the fucking Big 12 now. You get relegated to the Big 12, and every year the team that wins the Big 12 gets to go into the SEC, and you just trade.
Remember, we talked about that, how to fix the NFL.
True, you get relegated down.
We talked about that in a podcast at one point.
See, we say that. There are so many years like Illinois would get relegated on the Big Ten.
So here's what the 20 team would look like.
See, geographically, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State's kind of out there, but I mean, I think they could make it work. Their farthest trip would be out here to Penn State and West Virginia, and
yeah,
you had Notre Dame right there. Like, this could work.
I think if you're wanting to keep up with the SEC, you're going to have to add Notre Dame. If they go in and they add Texas and Oklahoma, for the football sake of things, you're going to have to make a play.
Pull that back up, Steve.
Don't tell me.
Please. I'm looking at basketball right now.
Wait, where'd it go?
Damn it, Steve. This is why, we can't go live.
Just go to your last closed window.
There it is.
Jesus.
Found it.
Yeah, because really, that side of the conference for basketball, the Illinois side of the conference, would be fun. Because you're looking Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. That's a tough conference.
That's fun. But that's fun.
That is fun. Because there's no gimme games in there.
No.
And I would rather be on – that other side is kind of weak.
Yeah.
For basketball?
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana is on the rock. Got better. Notre Dame's usually good.
Purdue's been up there every year.
West Virginia, they're usually solid.
Michigan's trash.
Well, they're soft.
Yeah.
Soft.
They'll play in a parking lot, though.
They'll play in a parking lot, but they won't play us.
Now, hold on. Is Bruce Weber still the head coach at Kansas State?
Mm-hmm.
That bringing him back into the Big Ten.
That's what I said. You would have two ex-Illinois coaches.
And you know what's going to happen is that Bruce Weber always finds a way to win games that he ain't supposed to. Mm-hmm. Like they could win 9 games, but somehow they're going to beat Kansas one time.
And Chester Frazier was coaching with him.
Oh,
yeah.
See, this just gets better.
Hey, you ready to fucking transition to Illinois basketball? Because this is a perfect time.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Hit the transition, Steve. Or don't.
Which one was the transition? Hold on. There you go.
That's perfect. Perfect transition. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
God, I just need to quit.
The most generic clap.
This is the last podcast I ever do. This is my resignation.
You know what? We've said that like every time we get together, Steve.
And then we took a 6-month hiatus, so it was kind of true.
The podcast after dark.
That was the final straw, really. It should have been.
That one got crazy.
I was so drunk. I didn't even realize how drunk I was at the time, but I was.
Just look at the picture. Just look at the picture I put for the icon there. That should tell everybody what happened.
Oh, yeah, because wasn't it like us all wearing crazy-ass hats?
You had the dong mask. Brad had like a flow hat thing on. I had the Irish hat on. Like, it was.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Brad, you'd have to do more of a dive into your basketball, tinfoil hat thing.
Yeah.
If we had all these teams, we need to know where the balls are coming from. Whose balls are we actually playing with here?
Whose balls do we have to handle?
Yes.
around the new Big Ten. Actually, I think all those schools are Nike, so that's actually good for us.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. Going into this offseason, could you possibly have imagined us coming out of it better than we did for Illinois basketball? So you go into it losing Kofi, Io, all three assistant coaches.
All three?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the two.
No. What's his name? Went to Gonzaga. Yeah. So we lose all three assistant coaches, lose Kofi to the draft. Adam Miller leaves. Transfers. In return, we get Chester Frazier back as an assistant, who's a big name on the rise. We get Tim Anderson, who is a big name Chicago guy that is really plugged into the AAU there.
Yes.
Jeff Alexander, who Kofi loves, which it just came out. He was the reason, like, Kofi realized he probably wasn't going to get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a dogfight between us and Kentucky for Kofi.
And then Kentucky comes out in like the last 2 days and says, yeah, Calipari never even met with him.
Doesn't even want him.
Yeah.
He's an All-American.
I think that was people just trying to make stories.
I think they knew they were going to lose out, and they didn't want it coming out that they were going to lose out.
Gotcha.
Because he wasn't
they're saving face, saying like, "Yeah, we never wanted it."
Because the blue blood can't lose to Illinois.
Yeah. So you bring Kofi back, and then you get a transfer starting big from Florida.
Yes, actually rated higher than Kofi coming out of high school.
Yeah. Alfonso Plummer, who hit the most threes in the Pac-12 last year. And you're getting Austin Hutcherson back, who is still whatever. Maybe he might be something, he might not. And you get DeMonte and Trent Frazier, both coming back for super senior years.
And let's just go ahead and be honest. Snag up 3 6'6" guys who can all shoot. And good Pods and Melendez.
So now you're looking at being potentially 10 players deep in a rotation.
12. Count that. Count how many there is. It's like insane. Because you have Plummer, Hutchison, Grandison, Curbelo, the 3 freshmen.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. We got to do this.
Okay, I have an idea of a starting 5 here. This is like Curbelo, Frazier, Grandison, DeMonte, Kofi. Then
I think DeMonte will come off the bench.
I think that one of the 2 older guys has to come off the bench.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Hutcherson, Alfonso Plummer, Omar Payne.
Yes.
Those 3 freshmen.
That's 11.
11. I don't think anyone else.
Hold on.
Boss man.
Yeah.
Verdonk. But yeah, I don't. You can't be. You can be too deep because then you're not playing your best guys enough.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're forgetting Coleman Hawkins.
Yeah. There was the 12th. There you go.
Because Coleman Hawkins will probably play the 4.
Yeah.
Which is his natural position. And he's a talented shot blocker. So now you have, when Kofi's on the bench, if you put Hawkins and Omar Payne in there at the same time,
that is a defensive lineup.
Omar Payne has a shot block rate that's like top 10 in the nation.
Yeah. Dude, it's stupid. Their lineup is stupid.
Like, I would almost rather see Coleman Hawkins maybe start next to Kofi, because I think he's going to develop a jump shot.
I think he's a better support to Kofi.
Yeah.
Because Omar Payne's not a scorer, right? He's more
of a defensive kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he's lengthy and fast. That'll be nice when we see the Baylors of the world.
Yes.
And
well, you look at what we got. Goods listed at 6'7", Melendez is listed at 6'7", and Podziemski is listed at 6'5". So, like, I mean, we're getting those guys who can guard multiple positions now. That's what we're looking at.
So, like, do you remember the Nebraska game where Io had to take over and score 20 straight points?
Yes.
Like, we're getting the height to where those teams won't bother us anymore.
Yep. Well, Nebraska was just the best box out team I'd seen all season. Like honest to God, like you want to talk about
they beat us. Well, it's exactly how the House of Pain lost today. Gave up way too many second chance points.
Well, the only guy getting defensive rebounds was Nana.
Yeah. And honestly, like it was almost tragic with the lack of like boxing out.
Well, I think that's a good time to bring it up. Like, you watched that today.
Yes.
Has anything made you appreciate Brad Underwood more than watching that team play today?
Yeah, because I'll tell you, dude, and it like struck me. I was like, so I was watching guys just shoot like pointless threes, right? Like they haven't went in, they ain't going in, but we're going to continue to shoot them. And I was like, this is literally like the Brandon Paul, which he had a couple of amazing games, but this is the Brandon Paul, Malcolm Hill, all of that kind of like transition into that Gross era. That's what we watched. There was John Gross games where we scored like 36 points.
And we thought we were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said,
does Feliz make that big of a difference? Because, see, he was on the last team.
I think he does.
Because, like, he was that guy who was like, well, piss on this. I guess I got to take it to the rim again. I'm going to get that hard rebound. You know? Yeah, I don't know.
I think that the only player on that team that I would want on this current Illinois team is Ravonte Rice.
Dude, he had some grit to him today.
That dude, when he makes up I forgot how beefy he is. He looked just like he did in college.
Yeah.
And, like, if he wants to get to the rim, you're not going to stop him.
No.
Or you might stop him, but you're going to feel it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he's just tough as hell. I mean, that's just his thing. But he was also a football player in high school until he had to give it up. Well, he chose to give it up for basketball. But
a good football player.
Yeah.
It's Centennial, right?
Yeah. Jeff Wilman told me in a freshman game, he was the kicker, and he kicked the ball off the front person in the line and picked it up and returned it for a touchdown. As the kicker. He was the kicker.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this offseason could have gone any better for Illinois.
Yeah, we went in like we were almost at critical mass. Like as soon as we were hearing like it was like Miller's leaving and now Antigua and Chinner leaving, like what in the hell is happening? Like, and everybody was like saying all this shit, but it was kind of like at the beginning of last year. Remember, everybody was like freaking out when we lost those few games, and everybody freaking out. And it was like, stay the course, man. They're figuring this out. Like Brad Underwood is the ultimate like stay the course. He's probably the captain I want of my ship if I'm in the middle of a hurricane, because he somehow comes out on the other side of it.
And it can't be understated that like all this happened after like probably the worst loss of his career.
Yeah.
Right. And he just straight up took a month off. Like somebody, I forget who it was, reported it the other day. They're like, we couldn't find him. He was just playing golf. Like, tried to get as far away from Illinois as possible to like rebound himself from that loss. And then strapped in and hired good assistant coaches again, recruited his guys back.
Yep.
And I never thought I'd say this. I'm not going to miss Adam Miller.
No, I'm not. I thought I would, but I'm not.
Like, I still think he's going to be a hell of a player. But what we have now, I think I'd rather have.
Yeah, I missed him originally just because I didn't know who they were going to replace him with. But now you come out this other side, you're like, oh, we might have got better.
When we picked up Plummer, I was like, okay, well, we're going to at least be okay for this year. Mm-hmm. And then let's see how recruiting shakes out. But I'm not going to lie. Those 3 freshmen we got, they're going to be players.
And you realize next year we have 3 more 6'7" wings coming in.
Yeah. Who are
Bass.
Just as good.
We have a guy whose first name's Sincere, which is funny.
Yes.
Like,
I think, what is it, the number 3 recruiting class in the country?
Yeah. All 3 of which recruited by Chester Frazier.
Yes.
And they're all 4 stars.
Who will probably become 5 when all the reclass shit shakes out. Because I guess the Bass kid is just ungodly in AAU. Like, nobody can stop him.
Yeah. And on 24/7 Sports, he's still classified as a 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's destroying people in AAU.
And talking about this conference realignment, you start adding these other teams, it's going to get real interesting with Illinois on that side. With Oklahoma State probably coming in, Kansas State with bringing Bruce Weber back.
Dude, there's just so many lines of things. You have Iowa State as well. Like, there's going to be like little backstories behind everything.
Not to mention fucking Iowa State comes in and Fred Hoiberg coaches at Nebraska now.
Yeah.
But what's great is Illinois basketball is in a spot now to compete. So if these guys come in, we're gonna be so well prepared for the tournament more than ever if this happens. And Brad Underwood's the perfect coach to steer Illinois through that. Yeah. And Bill Self's gonna have to come back to old Champaign-Urbana.
Yeah. So when Kofi came back, they evidently sold him on continuing to develop as a like more of a floor spacing big.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel, but like for his own development, that's good. You know? But for Illinois' offense, like I would almost rather him park his ass in the paint.
Unless he got faster, unless they know something we don't know. Has he leaned out more?
Or what if he became more of like a Luka Garza, which, okay, I'm not saying like a bitch, but like when he's up there setting those screens up top. Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
You're not wrong.
But like, you know, when they're running their little like action to like kind of get in their offense where they're diving off that high post and they're like sudden, what if he just like every once in a while just pick and popped it? You know, like something to be like, hey, this is in his arsenal, but this is not what we need to do to win games. Like this isn't Illinois basketball, but let's show that he's gotten a little bit better at this.
Mm-hmm.
His free throw shooting obviously could be better. So like that's something that, you know, but if he could get like a consistent, like, you know, he hits a 3 every other game, you know, like he has 18 threes on the season or some shit. That's an improvement.
He'll still be down low.
Oh yeah.
They'll have a move to the wing, but they're going to have something where he starts at the wing or the motion. Then he's going to end up back at he'll realize real quick what he can do.
I also think if we can develop somebody on the roster into a true 4, that would stop his defensive liabilities from like rearing their head like they did against Loyola.
Yeah. I think the Payne guy coming in, because Payne isn't a one and doneer either.
No, we've got him for 2 years.
Yeah. So he's just got Kofi, he seemed lost on defense. Like, I think that's probably his biggest, because that one dude put a school on him.
Cameron Krutwig.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did he not hit the graduate transfer COVID portal? Like, who would not want him?
No, I think he just graduated and is done.
He just said to hell with it.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, because schools like that, you probably have a job set up to make a lot of money, and if you don't take it, that's what's happened to some schools. Some football schools, if they're high academic, their kids could have came back, but they said, "Coach, I have a job that's going to pay me $150,000, $180,000 next year. I have to go take it."
And you're not going to make that in NIL.
No,
Loyola.
It's true.
But this was before that even happened. So some of these kids already graduating, like they didn't know this wasn't a thing.
Yeah, but if I'm missing a big, and I need a crafty ass dude, I know who I'm reaching out for.
Yeah, if you were a national title contender, that's I need a backup big to come in and because I don't have a second person to run my offense. Actually, Illinois, if you look at it, our second unit doesn't have a good distributor.
Right. Unless you somehow slid Trent Frazier into that second lineup.
But I don't think Trent would want to come off. I think you can put DeMonte on the second unit and he'd be
because they did that this year.
Yeah, but I don't think Trent wants to come off the bench.
I don't know if you can afford to have him come off the bench. I think you kind of need him out there this year with that IO. You kind of need that.
But you got Plummer who can actually shoot.
Yeah.
But there's a shit ton of options.
There is. And there's a question, is there too many options?
Yeah, I'm worried that we better hope that these guys really love what they're doing, because we thought we had transfers this year. Just wait till you have 12 guys biting at the bait. There's only 200 minutes to go around.
Mm-hmm. Then that gets scary.
Yeah. And you've got a loaded class coming in, which, let's be honest, I would much rather worry about our guys transferring because they're actually good and they don't get enough minutes here than just have shit for a team and we're scoring 40 points a game.
It's true. We've got rich people problems.
Yes.
It's
oh shit, do I hire another maid because I'm wearing an extra pair of underwear because of my accidental shit pants scenarios, or
do I just build a rocket and go to the moon? Do I just decide to do that?
No. Let's not give him credit. He just went into brief outer space. He wasn't even out there.
You know how much I cared? I didn't even watch it. That's how much I cared about it. I was like, screw it. I didn't even watch the.
I liked the petition that was leave him up there.
Yeah.
And give me all of his Amazon stock.
After
his wife became the richest woman in the world. Congrats to her, his ex-wife.
How many loans did he have to take out to pay her so he doesn't have to pay taxes?
No. Steve, his net worth is $127 billion. And you realize, have you ever read the Forbes top 50? This is the money that we know about. That is in the fine print. They say that they only know about half their money. Could you imagine being worth $250 billion?
You realize his ex-wife became one of the richest women in the world and now is the biggest philanthropist in the world.
No shit.
And she doesn't reach into any of her actual wealth. She's these are all just the dividends that my wealth is creating.
That's our problem right now with Illinois. We have too many dividends to dip into for the court. So we got to see what happens when we got to
start hiding our money overseas. And by that I mean benching Kofi and starting Boss Man's Verdonk all season.
Hey, welcome back. You're not playing. You know how we promised you to make you a 4-man? We lied. Sit your ass down.
Verdonk, you're athletic as hell, and we're sorry.
Have you seen what that dude actually looks like? He's huge, like ripped.
Yeah.
He's just not a good basketball player.
You want to know who was jacked? Was that dude that Illinois had on their freaking House of Pain team today? That other white dude.
Oh, did you hear them say, like, when he got to Wright State, he was 6'9", 330.
Dude,
oh my God.
He was jacked.
Yeah.
But he was like so jacked that like you could see the split in his quad. Like that's when you know like a dude's like legit. Yeah. No, he was like TV probably did not do him justice because when he came out, I was like, holy shit. And
no, on TV he looked doughy.
No, this dude
Really?
dude, he was put together.
Huh.
There was other people who looked doughy, players I will not name, but that guy was not one of them. That guy was jacked.
Just that thick life.
There were a couple Illinois guys, one in particular, looked thicker than a bowl of oatmeal today, and was running just about as fast as a bowl of oatmeal.
You know what? I think probably the dumbest thing that I heard all day while I was over there was Rayvonte Rice's mom screaming to put McCamey in over that number 7, which was Mike Dahm.
Who's one of the best college basketball players in the last, 10 years.
Who's one of the best overseas players.
Yeah.
He's just having a bad game. But you're going to put all – she was stupid today. She was ultra stupid.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. She was like, put in Dimitri. Take out that number 7. And it's like, well, we know why you want – it isn't that we don't want to take out number 3. Brandon Paul was having a terrible game.
Oh, yeah.
We know why let's just be honest. We all know why she wanted to take out number 7, but we ain't going to get on that train. It just pissed me off.
That's another podcast after dark.
Because Dom ended up hitting that big 3, but it's like, first off, McCamey's a freaking guard.
He's a guard that also doesn't rebound at all.
He's like the guy at the Y. Really good basketball skills, but is like 3 years past his prime.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay at the 3-point line. You guys got this.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
You know why Andres Feliz wasn't on that team, right?
Uh-uh.
He didn't clear his passport. He couldn't get a visa. And if they would have made it through this round, he would have been there next round. He was a week away.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Because they really needed him.
I missed seeing him play. I was excited. I was bummed out that he wasn't playing today because I just missed watching him play.
Yeah. He's just like one of those. He never really says much. He just goes. I'll tell you the one who was the most vocal was like Dimitri McCamey, but he was kind of whiny too.
Oh,
but
really?
sitting down that close, like Nana Egwu's like the eternal optimist. I'll be honest.
Oh, really?
Like he has great energy and he's always trying to pick people up.
He has great energy and gets zero help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he would have to have survived the John Gross era.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Nana, we're not going to ever recruit another big, so you're going to play every minute. And I need you to be the only person that rebounds on this team.
I need you to stay at the block and get this rebound.
But
yeah, even though
threes in your last year.
He's got a silky 3-point shot.
Yeah, he does.
It's nice.
Yeah. When he was shooting those, I was like, oh shit. I mean, he came out of nowhere. And like Rayvonte did like the scrappy stuff, but Rayvonte didn't have any help on the scrap.
Yeah.
Like, I think we tried to get too cute early on, and then we started playing because, dude, it was a rough game. Like, I'm sure TV didn't do it justice, but it sounded like a slap fight.
Yeah.
There was a few.
You could tell Rayvonte and whoever that guard was that played for Northwestern.
Yeah.
Jude, Like, they finally figured it out, and they're like, well, when they grab me, I'm just going to try to run down court, and they're going to pull me back, and they're going to start calling fouls.
Yeah, but even then, there was just some, I don't know, man. I mean, we created our own problems, right? Because you can sit there and you can get mad at, like, the referees, but if you don't box out, I don't feel sorry for you. That's like the one thing that doesn't take skill, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you just got to get in between your guy and the rim. And how many times we didn't do that? And it was either we thought we were too good or whatever. But that team, I think in the beginning of the game, I can only name a few possessions where they weren't God damn it. They were only one and done, I think, like 2 or 3 possessions in the first half. They were constantly getting rebounds. And that's one of the big things.
I would love to see their stats.
Well, I'm going to look it up.
I also really like the just first team to X number of points wins.
Yes. It takes out all the stupid-ass fouling and stuff.
Exactly. Like, I kind of wish that's how NBA games ended.
Yes.
And at the end of the game, if you foul, it's 2 shots or a shot and the ball.
Yeah.
So you only shoot 1 free throw, but you get the ball back. Like, I like that.
Oh my gosh, this is like, buddy, this is gonna be hard to find.
Here we go. Keep good stats.
No, they got good stats. We just got to find them.
Nathan's data mining over here.
I am. Always a Brave is currently tied 73-73 with Chicago Hoopville. There's actually been some good games too. Like, they ain't like necessarily like blowouts. Well, I say that, and then the Red Scare BC Vaughani City 88-44. Son of a bitch.
Can they talk to somebody about the names? We got to get somebody to fix some of these names.
Yeah. So let's look here. Dom had 11 points. I did not know that.
I thought I seen him make 2 shots.
He had 11 points. Brandon Paul had 10.
What did Ravante have?
21.
Yeah.
But you look, dude.
He carried him that whole third quarter.
The other team had 9 guys score. And we only had, they had 10 guys score. And we only had 8 on our roster.
Yeah, all 13 of their players played.
Second chance points, they only had 14. It seemed like they had way more. And points in the paint, they had 28.
14 out of their 64 points is a pretty big.
That's a good chunk, yeah.
Yeah.
And they only out-rebounded us by 1.
That can't be right.
They had 11 steals. They had 45 bench points.
So some of those, like, long rebounds, they have to be counting them as steals.
They have to be. You realize that the House of Pain had the top 3 scorers in the game. That is definitely a John Gross stat.
That's an old Illinois basketball stat for sure. That's just disheartening. Wow. Did you know what's his name for Michigan came back? Their big man?
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that matchup again.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And let's just be honest, the Illinois guys, nothing but class at the game today. That was pretty legit.
Oh, to go and support
the
team? Yeah. Yeah.
So
did you see Curbello's throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley?
Yeah. Yeah.
And last time he was there, he was wearing a Cardinals shirt.
Oh shit. That's funny. Yeah, so here's the stat of the game. 10 of 35 from 3. That is a John Gross era stat.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot sub 30% from 3-point range. And you know what? We're going to shoot 30 plus of them because what the hell? That makes us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah. So I have a question. How much money, over under $500,000, do you think Andre Curbelo is going to make while he's at Illinois?
Oh, over. Because I think he'll be here. I think he's got this year and one more, and I think this year he's going to blow up.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to think about that. Like,
you think he makes 7 figures total?
Ooh. Now, see, that would be interesting. If it's going to be $999,999, I would give him the $1 to give him the $1 million.
Yeah. But I think he could do it.
Yeah, he's got the right personality, and I think the other thing is that like he's Puerto Rican, so like he's gonna have that market. Yeah, and like that's what the thing is when you take it international, it changes things, right? Because you look at like how Kofi's revered in Jamaica. Like, dude, there's Kofi murals everywhere.
I saw that when he was down in Jamaica, he was posting pictures of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they absolutely love him. And I think, see, we always think small peaches, like, oh, what's he going to do in Champaign? But I think the big thing for them is going to be going back to their home countries and being able to get money.
And he already is. Like, Curbelo's been putting ads on his Instagram in Spanish.
Yeah.
So he's got to be cashing in on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's Curbelo. I think he has, and he's just that personality. Like, we joke about it, like he's an NBA street character. Like, he's just got that personality. Could you imagine, though, how much money D. Brown could have made off of NIL?
Well, they were already, like, somebody on Curbelo's Instagram, like, yesterday was like, are you going to make your own headbands? He was like, I'm already working on it. Because, he wears that, like, tie headband.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a high school kid right now with, like, an afro,
I want a Curbelo headband.
Yeah.
I want a Curbelo headband, and I have a receding hairline.
Yeah. Like, that dude's got some swagger.
Yeah.
There's going to be some real, like, dick hang low swagger on this Illinois team.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is he doesn't take shit from people.
No.
He's got like that Feliz competitiveness.
Well, think about the lineup of DeMonte, Trent Frazier, and him all on the court together, and it starts to get chippy.
Yeah.
I'd walk into a bar fight with those 3 dudes.
With Kofi behind us.
Well, yeah, for sure.
He's got to stay.
Yeah.
We need that 84-inch reach.
Come out there and just pop somebody. Yeah. Like, no one's going to mess with that team. And you can't really foul them the way you would Kofi before because now you have a backup big, a true backup big.
Right.
Like, if Kofi gets in foul trouble, I don't worry about our offense.
No, and honestly, if we go small and end up, Coleman Hawkins has to play the 5. He's like 6'10", 6'11", gets up and down the floor. He's actually as much of a mismatch as he is on the defensive end. He'll be a mismatch on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then you have a true 5-out lineup.
With everybody who can shoot. Everybody can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you going to help off of?
Yeah, because all 3 of those freshman wings can shoot.
Yes.
And all of our – did DeMonte end the year with the highest 3-point percentage? I think he did.
Yeah. He has.
Because he shot – I think it was like 58%.
Let's see here. Oh, shit. Got all kinds of stuff going on here.
I'm going to be pissed if it was Luka Garza.
Oh, so you're wondering for the you know what? I might actually end up getting like freaking Illinois season basketball tickets now that I don't have to coach basketball.
I thought about getting football tickets.
I got those.
So I can go there and be sad.
But we could make the game day experience way better.
Just pull up nickel. Brett Bielema would like it. He would back our plan.
He'd be all about it. He'd probably bring the.
You know what? And I had the chance to talk to him about it. Damn it!
And have any
with Bryce? I should have went down there and been like, "Let me talk to you about this game day experience."
Can you watch this episode of the Coach D Show where Steve, Nathan, and Brad talk about?
Actually, Steve, we could have pointed to both of us because we were both there.
Yeah.
Be like, it's us and a friend who, I mean, we're hardcore Illinois fans. We went to the Big Ten championship game, so no big deal. Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
We could have fixed this whole thing for you. Still available.
It's not too late for us to install this.
Our offer is still on the table. All we need is $45 worth of Busch Light.
And we need about 30 folding tables.
Yep. And we can turn the Illinois tailgate into Bill's Mafia.
Well, what the hell is going on here? So they have Alfonso Plummer at 38.3%. Where the hell's DeMonte? Okay, I'm just looking it up.
Yeah, I was about to just look up. Do you want me to do it?
I'm looking it up. Oh, 54.7.
Jesus.
That was his 3-point% last year?
Yes.
That's fucking wild.
51% field goal percentage. Yeah. 54.7 3-point percentage.
I would say that's the first on the team.
I want to know how many players in the NCAA last year had a higher 3-point percentage than they did field goal percentage.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. So I looked up the NCAA. He did not qualify for the NCAA, but he would have led the NCAA in 3-point percentage by 6 percentage points.
How did he not qualify? Not enough
clue. I would assume
I didn't make enough. Because sometimes for records, you have to shoot a certain amount.
The lowest ones I'm seeing attempted was 89.
How many did he have? I feel like he probably had, 60?
I'm getting there.
But he didn't take very many, I guess.
Where in the hell's 3-point attempts at?
Probably averaged 2 or 3 a game.
Season totals. Here we go.
Imagine if we had a full
pointers. And he shot 64.
Yeah.
But he was 35 of 64.
Like, that's so good.
That is. That's insane.
Imagine if we had a full season.
Yeah.
If
shot 68% from free throw.
Shot what percent from free throw?
68.1.
His 3-point percentage was almost as high as his free throw percentage.
Wow. And we get him back for another year.
Yeah. He only had 20 turnovers on the season.
Well, yeah, because he didn't really handle the ball.
He didn't. Yeah, I guess he didn't really have to. And it wasn't like he was trying to get rid of the ball. He was normally taking a wide open 3.
Well, yeah, because he had Kofi and Io out there. Like, everything's going to be wide open.
Very true.
You know,
The light. Turn on the light. And it's awesome. All right. Yeah. So that was kind of disappointing. But is what it is. Illinois basketball is looking up. Are we going to talk Illinois football now?
I think we can. And then I'm going to have to get off here because my stomach's eating itself. I believe you said you were going to throw me some cinnamon sticks or something. I'm still waiting on.
I think they're at what in the hell is that town? Effingham right now. They're floating.
Okay. All right.
I threw them down 57.
Got it.
We're moving on.
I'm not gonna lie, that hurt my neck.
There's not much with. I mean, what's up with Illinois football?
So they have a top 50 recruiting class for 2022.
And we're winning a lot of recruiting battles against bigger schools or schools with more football prestige.
Exactly.
And we're locking our Illinois kids down, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love it.
Downstate Illinois kids.
Really?
Well, no, I mean, not sure.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, he's getting like Central Illinois kids to reverse their thing. Like, I think it all started with the Rochester kid. He's like, I'm going to go to Illinois now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was just a trickle effect.
I'm going to be honest. It's like murky as we were on that hire. I love it now.
Every time I listen to him talk, I'm just like,
I get more excited
now. Yeah, I'm like, can we play now?
Mm-hmm.
That
like
Big
I
Ten
was
Media
looking.
Day? Ooh.
I was looking for the Illinois home opener for the first time in I don't know how long. And I was like, this is the day. I got to make sure I don't schedule anything on this day.
August 28th.
Yes.
It's circled on my calendar, man.
Against Nebraska.
And it's going to be at noon, so it's going to be 1,000,000 degrees.
Even better.
Exactly.
Good thing I've practiced till 10:30. Then my happy ass is sitting down.
Mm-hmm. I think
no one bother me.
I think one, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that of the three of us, I was the only one excited about Brett Bielema at first.
Yeah.
We've already had this podcast about why I was not. We've already had this discussion.
No, I just want to bring it up again.
That was a good joke.
But I do think, like, it goes to show the difference between, like, getting a guy with, like, some swagger, like we talked about, and who actually understands how college football works.
Yes.
And, like, Brett Bielema can exist in a place where, like, you wouldn't normally recruit players to. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think he knows how that grind works. You know what I mean? Like, he can find the developmental guys.
Right. Well, and he's going to develop people, you know. Like, Russell Wilson went to him after going to NC State and moved his draft stock up to a third-round pick. Like, and now look at Russell Wilson.
And
did you hear the story about Bielema in Miami?
Mm-mm.
So evidently, after Russell's last year at Wisconsin, he goes into the draft, and Bielema went and interviewed for the head coaching job at Miami, like Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
And they talked to him, and he said, listen, like, if you hire me, you need to draft Russell. And evidently they thought he was full of shit, so they didn't hire him because they didn't want to draft Russell Wilson. Wow. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
He was young back then. He was 30.
He was. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, could you imagine the role reversal that Miami would have had?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Well, did you read about how when he was at Arkansas, Nick Saban came out and said he was one of the toughest coaches to coach against?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I think Alabama only beat them by 2 one time. I think it was like 9-7 or something like that.
Oh, shit.
9-7.
I think it was something like it was a really weird low scoring game.
What? Okay, Steve, you're the Saban like person. What year was that big rant he went on when he was talking about like Georgia Southern running through them like shit through a pipe?
That was a couple years ago. Because
right, he was like, no one wants to talk about this.
I think because they were about to play them or something, and the reporters skipped that game and went straight to I think Auburn was next or some other team was next. They went straight to that, and he just flipped. No one wants to talk about their rushing game. They're averaging 300 or 400 some yards on the ground, and we got to stop that. Nobody's talking about this player, and he's just naming off players on Georgia Southern's team.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody wants to talk about that. We do not skip this game, blah, blah. He goes, when we played the Citadel, they could have beat us. Like, he really is like, he gets mad. He goes, that's disrespectful to them. And he just goes on a rant about, like, people say we schedule powder puff games, and we schedule them, and they get 300 yards rushing on us. Like, and his rants are. And then did you see the media day where someone called Dion his first name and he walked off? So then when Nick Saban came up the next day for his SEC media day, the very first question was, Coach Saban, there's been a lot of discussion about how we should address coaches on media day. If we address, what do you want to be addressed as? If we could, do you want us to call you Nick? Do you want us to call you Coach? Do you just want to call Mr. Saban? He goes, I respond to pretty much anything. I don't care what you call me. He goes, it doesn't offend me. So he got called Nick 16 times or something. and he never walked off.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Deion Sanders walks out there and someone just said Dion. Because
Yeah.
everybody's so used to that. And he said, no, you call me Coach. I guess he went on this rant, just walked off of his media day.
That's just crazy, though.
Oh, see, I kind of respect it.
But it was just funny how, like, the very first question for Saban was like, what do you want us to call you? And he kind of smiled. He was like, what?
Where's Deion Sanders coaching at now?
Jackson State.
Okay, so we talked about Jackson State football in our podcast. So I guess, yes, that is, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we just made reference in the Coach Steve show to Jackson State's head football coach.
I mean, he also got this last recruiting class. I think he got 2 or 3 5-star guys to come to Jackson State. Like, his recruiting class was huge. If I remember right.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Well, they have the number 1 rank in the SWAC. Holy shit, he did get some dudes. The number 1 corner, or number 2 nationally, number 1 at his position, and number 1 in the state. He got a corner.
Yeah, if you're the best corner in the nation, why wouldn't you go be coached by Deion Sanders?
Is Shadur Sanders, is that Deion's son?
Mm-hmm.
So then his son.
Both of his sons play for him.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
So his 247. Wow. Wow, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, because his son's a 4-star quarterback.
Yep. He got a.
So the game I was talking about, I had to find it. It was in 2014, Arkansas versus Alabama. Alabama won 14-13. Like,
whoa.
And then all the other games were like 27-14 or whatever, which, I mean, that's still losing. That's still closer than what normally happens.
And then he left, and they didn't win a game for like 3 years.
Well, they fired him.
What the fuck? Deion Sanders He has 5 4-star recruits committed to Jackson State.
Isn't Terrell Owens his wide receivers coach?
No, but he goes in there and does camps.
Oh,
And you know who works with their quarterbacks every week? Comes in every week?
Who?
Who was his quarterback with Dallas?
Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman comes in there and helps coach quarterbacks.
Did you see at Tennessee Tech, I think, Hugh Jackson is the OC? Because who got the head coaching job there? He won the Heisman.
I can't remember it.
Dude, they have 2 4-star wide receivers and 1 3-star wide receiver. He's surrounding his son. They're going to put up some points.
They did last year.
Shit.
Sorry, it was Tennessee State. Eddie George.
Eddie George, yeah.
I sent Hugh Jackson an email to be on the podcast.
Oh, really? No, they because Dion said they interviewed him to be the coach at Florida State, but he felt like Florida State didn't take it seriously, so he wanted to go to an HBCU.
So, real quick, I just looked at this. Tennessee State, Eddie George is the head coach. Offense coordinator is Hugh Jackson. Brandon Fisher, Jeff Fisher's son's the defensive coordinator. Who else do I know on here?
That's pretty legit. I'll bet Jeff Fisher probably noses himself around there too.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
That's a staff. They're in the OVC. Good luck with that.
When he's not out hunting bears and stuff. That's what Jeff Fisher does now.
Catch fishes with his bare hand.
Yeah, basically.
Man, after being on the Rams and on All or Nothing, just never again
Yeah.
get another job.
No, but see, that's what I like about Dion though, because he has that whatever, I'll leave, and it gets people to come in.
And he still works for Barstool.
Yeah, because Barstool's doing a Hard Knocks thing.
Have you seen all the Barstool sports athletes?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I coached a kid at Lombard East who's at EIU. That's one.
Oh, is it really?
I can't believe.
Too many.
I don't think they even get paid from it. I think they just get free Barstool gear.
Well, because they asked him that. They said, how are you going to pay these guys how much? He goes, we haven't figured it out yet. We just signed them. They really don't. They're just we don't know. We were signing them.
Yeah. I just love how a bunch of all the Barstool athletes, a bunch of them were offensive linemen.
They're going for volleyball players, linebackers, and offensive linemen. It's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah. And I saw a bunch of softball players. A bunch of softball players got signed.
I just read something, so I have to say this out loud. So Gardner Minshew got asked about how he felt about Trevor Lawrence getting drafted, right?
Yeah.
This was his response. I haven't taken a shit in weeks. Number 2 is not an option.
How do you not want that guy as your backup quarterback?
How do you not want him as your starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears?
How much money would he have made in college?
Oh, shit.
State?
Dude, he would do Gold Bond powder commercials, just bare ass and a jock strap, just hitting himself with anti-monkey butt powder and shit.
He would have been the Busch Light spokesman. I guarantee.
Oh, my God.
Oh, 100%. How's that going to work? Can alcohol sponsor an athlete?
I'm sure because
I know. Raisin Cane's is sponsoring Spencer Rattler.
Well, because BYU came out and said they can't be
sponsored more.
Oh, Spencer, yeah, douche.
When we were in Colorado, I almost got into a fight with a guy at the pool about Raisin Cane's. We got into a yelling match about it, and this random lady was like, "I don't think it's that bad," and I was like, "Shut up."
No, but anyway, BYU came out and said their athletes can't be sponsored by alcohol or caffeine.
Well, yeah, because they're not allowed to have it on campus.
So when they said alcohol, I wonder if alcohol can do something. I don't see why not if you're 21.
Gardner Minshew definitely would have had like a Busch Light sponsorship.
Busch Light sponsorship, some type of tobacco chewing sponsorship, headbands, Ray-Bans, jock straps.
Jean shorts.
Jorts. He would have made a lot of money. You want to talk about Barstool athlete? They would have jumped on that.
Oh, he would have been the premier Barstool athlete.
Big Cat and them would have been there for game day. Like they would have shown up. But Mike Leach said something interesting. They asked him about this. You have to watch the media day with Mike Leach just to see what he's going to talk about.
He talks about all kinds of shit.
They asked him, they go, it's rumored that when you go to a movie, you stay for the whole thing, like the credits. Like, why do you stay for the credits? And he goes, I want to see who wrote the music. I want to see who made the movie. Like, I might hear a song, who made the song. So I just stay for the whole thing and read it. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's your funniest answer. I'm like, you're losing it. But then they asked him about the money thing, and he goes, we're just dreading water here because he's like, is it going to turn into the NFL where we can start cutting players, where we can start trading players?
I mean, they do that already.
Yeah.
But like publicly, like contracts, like,
oh,
that's what he's worried about.
And it wouldn't be necessarily money getting paid for by the institution, but like basically guaranteeing them a bottom line NIL thing.
And the NCAA is just throwing a fit right now. They're just kind of like, you guys do it.
Yeah. And the Bears just traded Anthony Miller, just to let you guys know.
What?
That really just happened.
Did they really?
Yeah, within like the last 30 minutes.
Ooh.
To the Houston Texans.
Okay.
Oh, God.
To the Texans?
Yeah.
So he can go punch somebody on the sideline? Idiot. We have Darnell Mooney. That's all we need. Hey, just try to be optimistic.
David Montgomery is another mile an hour faster. He's going to be even better.
Exactly. Did you see
he
that?
actually has a road grader as an offensive tackle, so I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, and did you see him and Nagy were talking in practice? He was like, do I actually get to run the ball today? And Nagy said no. And David Montgomery was like, well, fuck this. What am I doing here?
Yeah, no. I actually got to watch the presentation, but Chris Corfus, the speed guy, who's kind of blown up here in the last about 3 months because David Montgomery said he's working with the best speed guy in the world in Chris Corfus. So now the guy who is pretty easily accessible through emails is
no longer accessible.
Yeah. He's just a high school track coach.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else with Illinois football that we missed?
Oh, Isaiah Williams is evidently going to start at wide receiver.
That's exciting because that's a position that I think me and Steve both agree that he'll be successful. And the double pass is alive.
It is. And I think we can all agree Brandon Peters is not going to last the whole year. So we'll just throw him back in at quarterback.
Well, just like what we did with Eddie McGee.
And win some football games with Isaiah Williams.
On a podcast, we were talking about the Big Ten. I have Illinois going 6-6, looking at that schedule.
Wait, this upcoming schedule?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at their.
It was 6-6 or 7 and something.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now. Here we go. They're going to beat Nebraska.
Yep.
They will.
I think Nebraska's on a downhill turmoil. I said they'll beat UTSA.
Yes.
Virginia.
You can't spell nutsack without UTSA.
I had them. Virginia's on the up, so they're not going to beat Virginia. I don't think they're on the up.
And it's on September 11th.
They're beating Virginia. Book it.
They're going to beat Maryland.
But Tagovailoa plays there. Steve,
I don't care.
Okay.
Steve, they're going to start out the year 6-0 going into the Wisconsin game. You don't think a team that struggled to win, if they beat Nebraska and Nutsack, they're 2-0 going into Virginia?
Virginia's pretty good.
Well, newsflash, we have Brett Bielema. And
I
now
know,
I'm
but
a little optimist.
where
We're going
we
to win
are
that
right
game by
now,
2 points.
where we are right now, Virginia was there like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, well, they can come back to reality then.
Yeah. Listen to an Eminem song. Back to reality.
I think that we beat Wisconsin.
You really beat Wisconsin?
Yes.
With
I mean,
Grant
we did it.
Mertz, who shit all over Illinois last year.
Say what?
Do you remember what happened last year? at
21,
Wisconsin?
21 for 22 passing or something.
Yeah, he had one incomplete pass.
But we ran that stupid Tampa 2 and never checked
Well,
out.
newsflash. I think we severely upgraded this year. If by anything, we will be willing to do anything that will help us be successful instead of what we do.
When I did the podcast, I said our low floor is going to be 6-6. I think 7 to 8 wins is possible. But like Penn State's going to be good, better. Iowa's going to be really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern's going to be good again.
Steve, we're going to start out the season 10-0 going into Iowa.
What?
Yeah.
Are you actively smoking crack?
No. Well, let's think about it. Nebraska sucks, and then you got Nutsack. Virginia is a toss-up, okay, so they could lose to Virginia. Then you got Maryland. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat Purdue. We're going to beat Charlotte, so that's first 6 games. So Illinois, Wisconsin, yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but if you don't think Coach B ain't going to have them all fired up for that game, you're crazy.
It's at Illinois, too.
Yeah, if you don't think that I ain't going to be jumping around in between the third and fourth quarter. Okay.
Let's just start playing that.
And that's homecoming, too.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, Illinois, like that. Because here's the thing, like, I think Bielema can come in and be pretty competent, especially with – dude, we have 40-some seniors on the team.
Do you think that they're going to push that to a night game?
If they're 6-0, yeah.
Like a homecoming night game?
Ooh, I don't know, because they like to do all the homecoming shit later on. That's why I've heard
I
they
feel like that's going to be a noon game.
That sucks.
I know.
I want that to be a night game so bad.
Oh.
Do we have any night games?
Illinois Penn State's already scheduled for 11 a.m.
Maryland at Illinois is at 8 p.m.
The Wisconsin one is at 2:30.
Oh, it sucks.
Nutsack's at 6:30.
There you go.
Virginia's at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. our time.
Oh, because it's at Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys right now.
Maryland's at night on a Friday.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be a fun game.
I will be getting my ass kicked somewhere. Wait, what day is that? Hold on. Am I going to get my butt kicked? No, we could win that week. So, all right, there we go.
Steve, you silly goose.
You're such a silly goose.
If that was Glenbard West week, no one talked to me. No one speak to me.
Why?
Because Glenbard West is like the top 6 team in the state of Illinois.
So,
oh, baloney. That's all just rankings, Steve.
we have to play at Iowa, though.
Oh.
That sucks.
They're going to be good this year.
Yeah, we might not score a point.
Nice homecoming for Brett Bielema going into Iowa.
I'm telling you, he's pulling off the upset. Illinois is going 12-0. You can just go ahead and book it.
Good.
Honestly, you got to think about it. The only time that we have 2 tough games, like Charlotte will be a trap game for us because that's the next week we play Wisconsin. Like that'll be a trap game. But then you got Penn State right after Wisconsin. I'm telling you, man.
I mean, have you also forgotten what Penn State did to us this last year?
What'd they do? We had levies. You don't understand. We had like the biggest derelict college coaching staff ever.
Oh, I know. And I've it's gotten better, but it's the same players.
But the thing is that those guys are like super seniors. Like we have 40-some seniors. So it isn't like he's inheriting an absolute shit show. Like these guys chose to come back. They would have probably been undrafted free agents in the NFL, but they chose to come back to Illinois.
But then next year, we're going to be young. Next year.
Well, this recruiting class is very, very important. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
If they go 12-0, I will literally walk to Memorial Stadium and jump off a thing onto a folding table 15 times.
If they go 12-0, I'll quit my job and move back to Central Illinois. Like, I need to be there for that because it's never going to happen again.
And play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game.
Like, if that happened, it's just my life's over. Everything I've built in my life.
Steve, here's a question for you, Steve. Would you go to that Big Ten championship game with us, or are you going to skedaddle out on that again?
Yeah, you just going to fucking not answer the phone?
I will take my podcast in there without you guys this time, just because you're a shit.
Why would you do that?
He gets invited again, but goes and sits on the opposite end of the horseshoe. And we have that moment where, like, you ever watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they're, like, sitting in the restaurant, they look over, they're like.
And I'm just standing with a microphone next to Bielema.
You're, like, down on the field, like, while Bielema's talking to players, just, like, with a microphone. You get arrested.
And he hits the transition button on the mixer.
Oh my God.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Coach Brett Bielema.
And I'm getting arrested. See you later.
As you're getting drug off the field. Oh my God. That'd be the pinnacle of your podcasting career.
That's how I want to go out.
Steve, I feel like we'd get more viewers. Can you make that happen?
Yeah, can you get arrested?
Just like Barstool.
Allegedly. Just be allegedly. Like Pat McAfee. Allegedly.
So you need to do the Barstool thing. So when the Big Ten commissioner comes up, just start yelling Hitler. Like we did at the Big Ten championship game.
I did let one of those out, and then it was like one of those, ooh, I wish I could grab that R as it was leaving my mouth and pull that word back in.
Yeah.
But the guy in front of us.
That guy loved us.
Dude, that guy was laughing his ass off.
No, if Illinois goes 12-0, we are taking this portable thing. I will buy more microphones, and we're going to sit our happy asses down and do it live. Because where's the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll go
same exact place we were at.
Steve, we can get what we can do is we can get a banner at the table that we're at, and we can go live and just see if anybody, because they won't know. They won't know.
No,
that we're not a big podcast. And you just put it out there like we are a big podcast. Be like a Jordan Belfort type situation, Wolf of Wall Street style. And, we'll just be the penny stocks.
No, what you do is one, and this is a plan, and you're going to have to edit this out.
Well, do I need to stop recording so we don't?
Yeah, maybe we don't put this on the internet.
All right.
We have a real plan.
All right, so we're done. Are we done?
Yeah, let's finish this because we have a plan.
Go Illini.
Go Illini.
Illini.